All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started because we're going to record it. Hopefully it'll go well and then we can post it. Okay, so first I'm going to cover everything that we did during the session today, so you guys kind of have an idea as to what was going on. It may even explain some of the sensations that you had during the session, which will be good. So it's interesting because right before I started to pray for protection for all of you, me, your twins, and I started getting this horrible tickle in my throat, coughing to the point where I was like choking. It was so bad. So I knew clearly we were going to be taking care of some implants and throats, and we did. And I also started feeling bad headaches. So a number of you have been having some pretty bad headaches. And before I even started, they were telling me that a number of you have been feeling very tired because of this energy wave that we have coming in right now, and you're fighting it. So they're saying you need to go ahead and allow yourselves to rest. There's a reason that your body's wanting to rest, so let yourself do that instead of feeling bad, like, oh my gosh, why am I going to bed at 6:30 p.m., 8 p.m.? Allow yourselves to do that. You're going to be tired between now and they're saying Saturday, Sunday. So just let yourselves get the extra sleep that your bodies are needing. So I went ahead and started aligning your bones, your skeletal structure. Some of you did have tilted pelvises. You no longer have those. You're now in alignment. And then went through aligning your entire spine. Now, the interesting thing is they will draw my attention to certain vertebrae in your spine that have things embedded, trapped, that are certain characteristics, behaviors, patterns that you have because of whatever it is that we're going to heal and release today. So they pointed out 12 vertebrae. So there was a lot of stuff that we were getting rid of. So for most of you, you have felt this void in your life, like something that you've been trying to fulfill, like life's not as good as it should be, wondering why, what's missing. Most of you have had difficulty meeting your commitments. Majority of you, it's because you overcommit and then you can't meet those, and that's coming from a people-pleasing thing because of wanting to feel loved, feel worthy. Many of you also, that's tied to this misunderstanding of self-love, meaning you treat everyone, you go above and beyond for everybody else, always doing for everybody else, but not giving yourself that same compassion, not doing for yourself like you do for others. Like you will tell everyone else yes, even though you don't want to do that. Most of you are unable to ask for help or allow people to help you, and they've got some tips on that when we get to the end. Actually, where did I put it? We'll go ahead and cover one of them right now. So some of you, most of you, they want you to go get the Shiva Lingam. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Shiva Lingam. It's a crystal, like it's kind of like a grayish color and a brownish color. This is a big one. You don't have to get a big one, but you'll notice they have all different kinds of patterns. Like I've got this one. The other one that I've got upstairs is kind of split. So you got masculine, feminine circled. I got one that's split equally upstairs. But if you can, purchase one of these, or if you already have one, again, it doesn't have to be large, it would benefit you to get one of those stones. If you do get a small one, the great thing is you can put it in your pillowcase, sleep with it nightly for about 2 weeks, making sure you're cleansing it daily. Because what that does is it's time for you to balance your feminine and your masculine energies. That stone, it actually balances the masculine and feminine. So it's a Shiva Lingam. It will get those energies balanced, which is what you're needing at this time. So it'll help with that. Many of you have difficulty allowing yourselves to be vulnerable with others, seeking everyone else's approval. There's this deep-seated fear of leaving someone or something behind. Many of you throughout life have covered up traumatic experiences. Like you'll have something real traumatic happen and you'll just be like, whoop, moving on to the next thing. But when we do that, we don't give ourselves the time to feel it, to heal it. And we all do that. I'm guilty just like all of you. My military stuff has been extremely difficult. And I will just share the stories with people. Like I will meet a stranger and be like, yeah, I had a rocket blow up 20 feet from me. It threw me over 60 feet. It's all good. And they're like, what? But we do. We're just very strong. We take care of things and we just brush it off like, oh, that's nothing. But some of these traumatic experiences that you've had, we went ahead and did the stuff to heal those things now. So that won't cause you any blocks any longer. Trying to rush through life, difficulty letting people go, difficulty letting things go. Some of you, that's actually caused some constipation issues. And there's been, for most of you, a fear of abandonment and a fear of the unknown. Now, the nice thing to know about all these things that we just covered, it's all been cleared and released and healed tonight. So that's a good thing. So started out removing implants that you had. Now, the first implants they had me do were implants in your head, in the third eye area. Now, the interesting thing is you had an implant that kind of like looked like a snake. It kind of came in the side. It was a hook, went all the way back and hooked down. So that had to be removed first. In your Divine Masculine, they had an implant that was like a triangle, right smack in the center. But interestingly, when you looked at it, it's kind of like the snake went through the triangle. So it was affecting both of you in slightly different ways. So went ahead and removed that. And when removed it, they had me do some work on your corpus callosum. And when you're looking at the brain, the corpus callosum, if you look at like the back of the brain, it's kind of like a butterfly shape. That's what connects your feminine and masculine. Again, coming back to balancing those energies. So we had to do some stuff to clear that once we removed the implants. It was funny because after I removed your implant, you guys were all excited and happy. You were glad it was gone. Then I went to remove it from the Divine Masculine. They all looked very nervous. Like, what in the world are you going to do? And I had to ask them, are you guys okay? And their mouths were gaping open in shock, and they were apprehensively nodding yes. And I was like, are you guys sure? And they were still apprehensive, nodding yes. I'm like, it's going to be all right. You guys can loosen up now. And they just like shrugged their shoulders. And then when I told them the worst is over, fellas, it's okay. You can chill out. You can relax. Then they started shaking their arms and like they were wet noodles, like, oh, okay, all right. So then they were finally open to having their implant removed. But because this implant, a lot of you, it's caused you to have extra difficulty with balancing your energies, balancing your emotions. Of course, also the intent of the implants, because this was implanted most of you since very early childhood. But it was meant to keep you from fully opening up to your intuition, opening up to that knowing, opening up fully to the divine, allowing your gifts to fully come in. Also, it caused you difficulty in seeing the good in things, seeing the positive in things. So that is now gone. And they pat it in there pretty good, because even on your implant, it's like there were these little hooks along the whole thing. And on the Divine Masculine, theirs had hooks at the top and both sides of the triangle, like securing it in. But we got them all out. Then we had to work on your corpus callosum. It was interesting because the Divine Masculines started like clutching their heads. So some of you have been feeling their headaches. They've had some pretty intense headaches since March, as have you. So as we started getting that cleared out and putting some stuff in there to make it feel better, and then finish the corpus callosum, it started feeling better. And then I knew you guys were good to go when suddenly the Divine Masculine put their arms around each of you, and you guys were giving me thumbs up. So then we moved on to work on your lobes. Not to bore you, we got limited time, but we had to work on all your lobes, the temporal, the frontal, parietal, all the lobes, and clear down the cerebellum. And it was kind of like cobwebs type gray matter and stuff that we had to remove. And then we worked on your hippocampus, your amygdala, and then they told me to wait to come back to your pleasure centers, different areas of your brain that help you open up to feel joy. We came back to that later because they wanted me to finish your implants. So then they took me to the throat chakra. So you have this throat chakra implant. It was like the shape of a triangle, but if you look from the side, it was like a cylinder that went all the way back. And those of you that had that, which was most of you, you've had it since childhood. A lot of you throughout your life, you've had throat problems, tonsillitis, laryngitis, strep throat regularly, thyroid problems. Some of you, it's caused the ear infections, sinus infections, and not just recently because you weren't able to get download, but throughout life, because you've had it for so long. The reason that the implant was put in at such an early age blocks your communication, also blocks your healing. When they put an implant in your throat, you're not able to fully heal. So they did that to block your healing. They also did it because an implant and a blockage in your throat chakra keeps you from balancing your masculine and your feminine energies, which is why you've not been able to balance the two of those. And a lot of you, to offset, you have been more in touch with your masculine energies than the feminine. Yeah. And so now you're going to get to start to embrace the feminine. Oh, there goes the Yorkies. Let me show them their squirt gun. You guys can see your squirt gun. Girls, I can reach them almost at the front door with their squirt gun from back here. So when I'm doing videos, now you guys all know the trick. If you suddenly hear them stop barking and they're silent, it's because I squirt them with their squirt gun. Okay, so then I went to your heart chakra. And you guys, the heart chakra block was interesting because it was like a square in front of the heart, like this square. But then it had, on the front, it had a triangle facing up. And on the back, it had a triangle facing down. So when you looked at it, it was kind of like a Merkaba. So we had to twist it to get the triangles aligned to then pull this. They were compared to, they kept calling it a heart wall. So the square was like a heart wall blocking your heart. So once we, and like the triangles were suctioning it to your heart. So once we twisted the triangles and pulled it off, it was like a suction. It finally came off. But they have really locked that into place tight. But we got it off. Now, for some of you, you actually have had that since birth. So it's been there a long time, as well as for your twins. Once it was removed, we had to go through some energizing things. We had to do some things to energize it, bring your heart back. It was interesting too, because when I removed it, it kind of like felt like mush, like jello. So a lot of you, with being more in tap to your masculine, you're going to find over the next couple of weeks, you're going to feel like you're like mush, like all this feminine's coming out of you, which is interesting because if you look back, most of you have, even though you're totally feminine, you're divine feminine, you're physically feminine, you've got it going on in all planes, but because you've not been in balance, you've had your masculine more. And we all have divine feminine masculine inside of us, but you've had your masculine for most of your life be more amped up. So like if you go get somebody a card, it's not mushy, it's jokes. It's lightheartedness. It's like can't show that vulnerable side. Now you're gonna notice a huge shift in that. So the next couple of weeks when you're just feeling mushy, you're like, why am I just feeling all mushy? Allow it, because they're bringing you back into balance and they're bringing your femininity back to be, we'll say, more of a presence than the masculine side of you. Because of that heart wall, it's affected your self-esteem. And for many of you, it's also caused difficulty for you to forgive people. And especially forgiving yourself. So they're gonna cover a little thing for you to do at the end. I'm gonna make myself a little note so I don't forget. Because for those of you that have not done forgiveness letters yet, oh boy, did they have something fun for you. Okay. Then we removed an implant. It was interesting because you had the implant in your sacral chakra. Your masculine had it in their solar plexus, but you were feeling the two. They were different shapes. Yours was a triangle, theirs was a circle. So for your divine masculine, which is interesting because you guys are mirroring each other, it's caused them extreme problems with their desire, their drive, their feeling of purpose. It's caused them to have like a repressed anger and also a lack of self-control. But it's just been more extreme for them. You've been feeling it, but it's been more extreme because they're the ones that have been carrying that implant. You were carrying the implant in the sacral. That's relationships, emotions, intimacy, which has caused the inability to let go. For many of you, it's also even caused reproductive feminine issues, UTIs, those things. So we got those implants removed, and then we did some work on your reproductive system. Uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes. Some of you that are going to be having babies with your twins, your eggs were like not moving. When they had me work on your ovaries, the eggs were like gray, they were still, they were not moving. We had to do some stuff to energize them, heal them, and then all of a sudden they started moving. So for those of you who are going to be having babies with your twin, it will happen quickly. And they're also saying because a number of you are beyond what you would consider the normal childbearing ages, they're saying to not worry because the eggs are healthy. They're now healthy, they've been restored. Then we had to work on the masculine's testes. Then we went and cleared curses, hexes, black magic, the Akashic record tampering that they were doing. We cleared all that. We did soul contract cancellations. Soul contract was funny because when I started doing soul contract cancellations, divine masculines were all piping in the karmics. You're going to do it with them too? And I told them yes, and they all like yelled out with joy, yes. So even though to you it doesn't appear, like why does he keep going back to her? Why does he not free himself? The divine masculines felt immobilized, stuck, because black magic curses, these things, they're very powerful. It's a spiritual war, so they can't explain it, why they've not been able to get free, but now they will be able to free themselves. Then we brought all the reptilians, the grays, all these lower vibrational beings in. We also brought in your family members because for a lot of you, these curses have affected your families. So we canceled all those soul contracts and removed that for you, your twin, and your family members that were all affected. So for some of you, some of the curses, these soul contracts in your families, they go clear back, like, you know, maybe your great grandparents were drinking. And maybe throughout your family line lineage, for some of you, there's been continued drinking or alcohol abuse, drug abuse. You're going to notice the family members and affected by that aren't interested in doing that any longer because the spiritual cause is gone. Then we cut cords, we did inner child healing. Then they had me work on the pleasure centers of the brain. So you're going to find that you're suddenly joyful again. Like, although you've had, well, come on. Oh, she's very excited. Come on. Oh my goodness. So although you've had times of joy in life, hello baby. Although you've had times of joy, it's kind of like this joy in life's like not been there. But you're going to find that you've got the joy back. And you're going to find you also find joy in little things. Like when you're outside taking your walks, which they'll cover that they'd like you to do, you'll suddenly just be able to stare for a long time like, oh, look at that bird. Oh, look at that puppy over there. And just be so happy just staring at the simple things, enjoying that. That's because that child, that innocence is back, that joy is restored. Then we went, oh, and they are encouraging you to do something childlike and fun. Are you staring at the camera? I think she was part of your feedback. So for the next week to 2 weeks, do something childlike every day. Dance, sing, do something playful, and that's going to help with that joy. It's going to help bring it back even faster. Then we cut cords. You going to sit down? Okay. And then we did some work on your endocrine systems. Some of you had a lot of crusting over your pituitary gland. We cleared all that out. If you're not already drinking fluoride-free water, you'll want to switch to fluoride-free water and fluoride-free toothpaste so that doesn't get the calcification back. We cleared your thymus, thyroid, all the stuff tied to your endocrine system. Then, oh, some of you have been having problems with your kidneys because they took me then. So I've noticed, this is now the second group session, I noticed that they will take me to something that a large number of you have. And they took me to your kidneys and had to work on the kidneys, the urethra, the tubes, all the stuff. Had to also do some tightening. So for some of you, there's been incontinence, maybe some leakage, maybe some difficulty holding your urination, some things with that going on. The spiritual reason is because you put so much pressure on yourself. So we went through this stuff to help tighten, clear, get all that taken care of. So you're going to be noticing some improvement with that for those of you that have that. They're also encouraging you, for those of you that do have things with that, to do some Kegels for the next couple weeks. Okay? And that's going to help with those muscles and things that we were strengthening tonight. Then we worked on your immune system, everything, your thymus, your spleen, all that, your digestive system. Then we had to clear your chakras, open your chakras, charge them. And then they had me do this final thing, the divine masculine. Some of you have been feeling the discomfort on your left side. And there were like these lines, kind of like reminded me of spaghetti. They were 6 of them. And what they were explaining is for the ones that had the karmic, they were, because if we have something, right side's to do with masculine, left side's to do with a woman, those with the karmic, they had put this block on that left side. So the divine masculine thought, a lot of them thought that they had something wrong with their spleen, maybe they had cancer. Like when you guys do end up talking to them, they're going to tell you about this extreme pain that they've had for months on that left side. They're not going to have the pain anymore, and you're not going to feel the pain anymore. But that was tied to that karmic and things that they had attached to them to keep them stuck. They were saying like keeping their claws in them. So if you could take an Epsom salt bath tonight, take an Epsom salt bath. If you can't do one tonight, do one in the next few days. Doesn't have to be expensive Epsom salt, cheap stuff at Walmart. Soak for 20 minutes. This next week, if you can get outside and take a walk 2-3 times this week, if it's warm enough that you can put your feet on the ground, that would be a good thing. Oh, they're saying some of you, they're encouraging you, do not reach out to Divine Masculine, let him reach out to you. Because some of you are going to be so excited, you're going to want to reach out to him. Just wait, he's going to reach out to you. Drink lots of water the next 2 weeks. You're going to be releasing a lot of toxins. So all this stuff we released today, you're going to be releasing it. The faster you can get those toxins physically out of your body, the faster you'll feel better. So kind of like when I'm working on somebody that has cancer. Yes, we've healed their cancer. The mass is gone. They'll physically see the mass is gone 2-3 weeks later, but those toxins tied to the mass have to physically leave the body. Your toxins from everything we released today have to physically leave your body. You will help with that process and feel better quicker if you drink a lot of water. And if you put some lemon in your water 1 time a day, that'll help too. It doesn't have to be all your water. You can just put some lemon juice in like 1 bottle a day or 1 cup a day. Make sure you're getting your rest. And you're going to be having some people over this next month offer to help. That's a test for you to accept help and allow people to help you. So allow them to do that. Now, manifestation. So we just had this full moon, which is huge about manifestation. It's our second big opportunity of manifestation stuff. And since we're cut off soon, I'm going to probably do an informative video. But they're encouraging you to set your intentions. So put together, if you have anything that you need to release, put together the things that you want to release. I want to release any and all blocks tied to finances. Some of you, you've been, because they were saying stop worrying, some of you, you are worrying so much that you're actually blocking your blessings from coming in. So you're so afraid of some things not happening, and since you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, you're creating it to not happen. So you need to clear that slate. So in order to clear that slate, put down anything that you want to release. And even if you don't know the details, like, okay, I want to release any and all blocks to financial abundance. I want to release any and all blocks to get in a new house. I want to release any and all blocks to coming into union with my twin. If you know what some of those blocks are, you can list them. And then you pray, you ask that they help you release those things, rip it, burn it, dump the ashes. Also, if you've not done forgiveness letters, do the forgiveness letters. And you can lump a whole bunch. If you've done forgiveness letters before, and you've just had maybe a couple of annoyances pop up with like maybe your mom and your brother and one with your twin, you can just do one forgiveness letter. Okay, I forgive the following people, list them. And you can just, as you're saying your prayer, okay, I forgive my twin for still not calling me. I forgive my mom because, ooh, she made me mad on Easter. And I forgive my brother because he's a jerk sometimes. And then do your forgiveness statement, rip it up, burn it, and that will clear the energy. And then put out your manifestation as to what you want to manifest so that you can actually bring it in. And it will give it more power if you can do something to ground it into the earth. So if you can read it out loud, or if you happen to be by the beach, you can go, my nose is tingling. You can go out and write it in the sand. You can write it in the dirt. Because that's going to ground it in. I know it sounds weird. It totally sounds weird. I was in Florida and they made me do something like that. I had to do all my releasing stuff. Then they wanted me to take my manifestation list and they wanted me to go out to the beach. And my condo was right on the ocean. They wanted me to go out and write in the sand. Either draw a picture, like if I was like, okay, I want to have a baby, I drew a rattle. Or, oh, I want my puppies to get along, drew a heart. Something to signify whatever it was that I wanted to manifest. And if I was really not knowing what to come up with, I would draw a happy face or whatever. But I would read out loud each thing I wanted to manifest, and I would draw something in the sand for each thing. Because it has to ground it into this reality for us. And I did that 2.5 days ago, and already today, one of the things that I had on my manifestation list that I have been waiting on for like 6 months already came in today. So they're encouraging you to do that. It's going to be very powerful for you. Get those things out there. Okay? Yes. Okay. So in our last few minutes, did you guys have any sensations? Anything? Images come up during the session?
I would feel warming in parts of my body.
Okay. Okay, good. That's normal. Anyone else?
Took a nap.
Took a nap? Yes. See, you need to get your rest. The good thing.
In my country, it was 1:30 a.m. and now it's 3:30 a.m. And I slept a little.
You are one of the reasons I'm recording this today.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Anyone
I
else
bought myself crystals.
You did what?
I bought myself crystals, but I felt lots of pain in my body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you should feel the pain dissipate, and if you take an Epsom salt bath, that'll also help. So, okay.
And my throat, like my throat, I felt that a lot.
Oh, you're one of the people that had the throat chakra implants. That was pretty rough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you'll
was
notice
really
some.
hurting.
Yeah, you'll notice some relief for that. Oh, and your heads, we did have to put a grid around your brains because this stuff, the work that we did on your brains, since it was so much, like toward the end, I was starting to get a really bad headache. And they told me to put a grid around each of your brains so that you don't have any pain over the next few days while it's like culminating that work, okay? So you won't have any bad headaches with that. And then your Epsom salt baths will help with everything else.
I felt like I was being almost choked, like there was a giant like collar or something around my throat and almost all the way up my face.
Oh, wow. And did it dissipate?
Yeah, no, it's almost like I could feel the edges of it and while you were working on it. It was early on and then it went away, but it was very strange. I almost couldn't swallow. I'm like, this is just an energy. It's okay.
I'm glad to hear that because that was that throat implant and that was kicking in when I was just straight out the gate praying for everyone's protection. I mean, it was choking me. It was so intense.
Yeah, it was awful. Thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyone else in our last couple minutes?
Oh, yeah. So it was interesting because a lot of what you've talked about is something I've kind of experienced on my own in meditation the last few days. So I was meditating tonight and I actually went through and cleared my own chakras too at the same time. And the throat thing was huge. Like I was choking actually and coughing. And so, yeah, of everything that you've described tonight, I've kind of felt it along the way. So thank you.
That's great confirmation. Yay!
I felt very peaceful toward the end.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it felt like I was in meditation, but I wasn't. I was just chilling around, but it felt really peaceful.
Yay! That means it worked. Got it all out of there.
Thanks.
I was just, I happened to be looking on Facebook and I saw these pictures of these puppies and I was going, oh my God, I really want these puppies. And then all of a sudden I started crying, like in the tears. But that's all
Here comes that mushy joy back. Good stuff.
I did have one question.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having a lot of issues the last 2 weeks specifically, but the last week intensely in my back where that my lower back pelvic area was intolerable. It was awful. I've barely been able to walk. And
Me too. I also had that. Yeah, like
I was
big
just
time.
wondering.
And you'll
Wondering
notice
if
that'll be better. That was tied to that sacral implant that you had. Because the thing that happens is when we're going to remove things like this, they'll start to get a little irritated and mad because they know that when they're going to be removed. Like I'll have a lot of times during sessions, somebody will be in extreme pain for a day or a couple days beforehand, or they'll be extra anxious. That's because the attachments, implants, and the beans that put those things in there, they know that they're going to be removed and they're just trying to put their last effort forth.
Yeah.
So you should be having relief as early as tonight.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to ask a question, please.
Mm-hmm.
I was very tired the last few weeks, months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Will be okay now. I don't know what to say.
Yes. Well, we've been having these intense energy waves come in. And they're going to continue to come in. We're actually under one right now. Like if you go out, you can see the Schumann resonance has been spiking. You'll be able to see solar flares and things that are coming in. When those things come in, they bring us these upgrades, these downloads. They make us very tired. You'll continue to have them. The nice thing is they're not going to be blocked because the ones that we've been receiving since March, you were not able to receive those because they were blocked because of the implants. So they'll come in quicker. So you will notice when we're having them, because like you're still going to be sleepy off and on between now and Saturday, Sunday, because these downloads, these upgrades that you're receiving, because when we removed everything, we then pushed the upgrades you didn't receive since February, March in. and then also you're receiving the ones that are coming in right now. So when you're receiving them, they come in better when you're sleeping, which is why you get sleepy, because they want you just to lay down and sleep while they take care of everything. So instead of being sleepy for weeks on end, you'll just be sleepy for 3, 4, no more than 5 days, depending on how big the upgrades are that are coming in. Because they're upgrading your DNA and doing all types of stuff.
Can I ask something? I did the last session with you, and in the night, my twin totally opened up and he spoke about that he experienced the war and that he was witnessing that some people died, which he didn't tell me in 10 years. That was awesome. But this is like the second session I did with you, but in between it got actually more worse, that so much anger came up and we can't even talk anymore. And now it's like it's like, then instead of getting better, it's actually getting worse. What's that?
Well, the implants and things that the Divine Masculine have had that were put on them were causing them to have a lot of anger. So until those things are fully released, and when they're released, that anger and stuff will continue to come up until it's all gone, purged from them. Kind of like the toxins. Toxins come out of your body, those things will come out.
But I'm getting angry, not him.
Well, and you'll be feeling those things because you had the blocks in the same chakras. So.
I have a question. While you were doing it, I kept seeing my twin. He was either right next to me or within the room.
Okay. That's good. Because he was there. We were working on your Divine Masculine too. It was interesting because a couple of the times I knew that we were done because they would either come over and they'd give you guys hugs individually. You guys would both be giving thumbs up at the same time together. So he was with you. So I'm glad that you got to see that he was there.
Yeah.
So yes, worked on both of you.
Is it normal to not feel your twin during these types of situations? And
yeah,
I mean,
not
like,
everyone does. So
I feel like there's like a kind of a chasm. So that for me, I almost forgot that this was a twin thing. It's literally like where I've been going is that's not really, in the forefront of my mind anymore.
Mm-hmm. Nope, and you may not feel them during the session. Some of you will and some of you won't. Now, there has been a block put on the Divine Masculine side to not be able to tap into you as much as they have. And that was a block that was put in last year for most of you because the Divine Masculine was able to get telepathic communications quicker than you, tap in quicker. Well, they put a block in to throttle that back because separation makes the heart grow fonder. So to help motivate them to do their work, they have not been able to tap into you as easily as they were in the past. But that was done to help motivate them to start doing their work. So
interesting. Okay.
Because for the Divine Masculine to be separated from the Divine Feminine, just for Divine Feminine to be separated, it's a very intense thing. In any humanity, period, we don't like to be separated. Like if they're really somebody that's in prison and they really want to make it difficult on them, they will put them in isolation. And, they show when they put somebody in isolation, it can make them go insane because we need that connection. Twins definitely need that connection. So by them putting that barrier up, not making it as easy, that's a motivator for the masculine. And a lot of them have been doing the work because of it. So.
But I feel calmer because of it. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. I don't know how to feel about it, Well,
it's a good sign. It's also a good sign because he's doing his work.
Okay. I'll accept that and move on.
Yes. Well, anything else before it cuts? And it may just cut us off because it only gives us like 30 minutes. Anything else?
My twin actually was calling when we started to get on the
that's funny.
thing.
That's funny.
So I had to say ignore. Sorry.
How funny. Picking up on it.
I have a fast question. Will all of this help if we had issues from past lives together?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yay.
Yep. And everything that we removed for this lifetime and all other lifetimes and dimensions, realities as well. So because a lot of this stuff didn't just start in this lifetime. Most of it started in previous lifetimes. And some of it started with our ancestors in previous lifetimes. So.
Does this also help unlock your own spiritual gifts?
Yep.
Okay.
So
awesome.
the upgrade that most of us received back in March, February, March timeframe was opening up to more of our spiritual gifts. Because the implants that you had in your third eye, it blocked that upgrade from coming in. So now that's going to be able to come in. So over the next month or two, you will notice more. Those of you that have already gotten some of your gifts open, you'll notice they're more intense, stronger, and then you'll notice you have some new things coming in as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
I had that. So many new projects came in since last time.
Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
Will we
Can
be
I-
able to do these things for ourselves?
Yep.
Like, because it feels like we always have to have these great big kind of healing sessions, and then we kind of go through this like dipping, high point, and then subsequent low, 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 and then a healing to get us back on track. It feels frustrating,
Well, and when you look at,
at least for me.
typically you need a little help with big things, but once the big things are gone, and also because a lot of you are going to notice that your spiritual gifts get even stronger. So you're going to be able to help other people do things like this, where they need some help doing stuff. But once the big things are gone, and it's smaller stuff, that's things that you can definitely do on your own. And it's just setting the intentions. Like if you can tell, oh my gosh, I'm having some pain, because we're all under psychic attack. Where's my book? There it is. So a lot of you are healers. I haven't read this book. It just came in while I was on vacation. I just got home yesterday. Sapiential Discourses, book 4 by Elliot Jackson. If you're in Ohio, he's actually in town this week. He's going to be at the Taste of Healing that I'm going to be at in the Dayton area. This is about the spiritual war. If you are a healer, this would benefit you to get this, because this talks about the spiritual war, psychic attack, things that you can do to stop that. Because although we had the session today, it's taking care of your big blocks, you're still going to come under attack. But when you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm having this horrible pain in my side, you'll know it's because you've got something attached to you. And you'll know to just call on. There's a number of different techniques. Easiest one that works, if you don't know all the details as to what it is, you can't see it, is just to call. I always call on God, Jesus, and Archangel Michael, and I ask them to remove whatever it is that's attached to the right side, whatever's causing that sharp stabbing pain. Ask them to remove it, and they'll remove it right away. And then you don't have to have somebody do that for you. You can ask to have that done. And Elliot was saying that there's a number of techniques of things to do in this book. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. He told me about the book. He channels God. He channels Source. I'd actually reached out to him a few weeks ago because I realized I was like becoming magnetic. I would hold my scissors at the plastic end and I was able to pull metal toward me. My wrist was with a crystal bracelet, no metal, it was sticking to my computer. And so he channeled God, Source briefly, and I'm like, what is going on? Because I've had a number of other things go on with changes and upgrades. And he told me it's spiritual magnetism. He said it's mentioned in the new book. I don't know. I haven't read about it yet. But it explains a lot of stuff that we're going through right now. It gives a lot of techniques on how to continue doing that healing and stuff on your own as well.
Thank you.
Because you're very powerful beings. And it's kind of like if you turn a porch light on, you got this bright light and all these bugs fly around that light. You are a bright light. You're going to have a lot of bugs coming around and bothering you. You do have the power to clear them on your own. You don't need me or anybody else to do that. So.
Can I ask another question, please?
Mm-hmm.
Starting from now with this healing session, in how many times I can in union, in marriage, because this is my biggest desire. My twin is in a karmic relationship still now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the best thing to do is to clear any blocks that you have. Do the forgiveness letter. If write anything down, like if you're still holding on to frustration, if you're still holding on to a fear that, okay, what if he comes back and he leaves me again for someone else? That's actually going to block it. So some divine feminine have a fear that it's just going to be a repeat of the past. So since they think it's going to be a repeat of the past, they're energetically blocking it from happening. So those are the things that you just need to write down to clear. Like, I no longer want to block this. I want to release fears of the past happening, any frustration, sadness, heartache. You can do a little forgiveness letter too, or you can just list, here's the things I want to let go of. Burn it, rip it up, and then write a list of what you want to manifest. I want to come into union with my twin. I want to get married. I want to do the following things. And then put that out, ask the God, Jesus, angels, bring that to you, and then let go and let God then bring it in. So.
Thank you.
Is it possible that we could have heard your voice during this? Like, almost heard you, like I felt like I heard you talk to me. It was really wild.
Yep, that happens. And it's funny you say that, because the first time that happened was first person I did a healing session on for cancer years ago, which was my aunt, and she heard me talking to her like I was standing next to her.
Yeah, it
It's
was
like
crazy.
8 years ago.
Like I heard you say, okay, like it's almost like you tapped into a memory or like a time when like probably the first time he truly hurt me, like stabbed me. It was like one of the hardest like moments, and maybe it was just my subconscious because I went into meditation during this and sent you my energy too, like try to like open it up, make it easier for you. And it was almost like you went into like this memory, and like I relived it because I cried like a couple times during my meditation, and it was almost like you were like, he knows that this is the moment when he hurt you. It was really weird, but it was almost like in a way it was helping me to like release that pain, that little bit of pain I was still holding on to, almost like popping a zit. Like it was really intense. It was cool. There were a lot of unique things I'll have to tell you about later, but yeah, it was really something.
Awesome. Very cool. And yes, definitely possible. I look forward to hearing what else happened. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to wrap it up for it.
Yeah.
On us, before we go.
Is it okay to do more sessions with you? Like when you do that twin flame thing, is it okay to do it each time, for example? I don't know. Or is it like, are you saying no to wait a little?
It should have the things cleared for you if you're feeling guided that you need. There were little differences between the session I did tonight and the first one that I did.
Yeah.
And that's because it goes off the collective as to who I'm working on. So if you feel guided that, okay, I'm feeling guided to do this group session, then that means there's something that's going to come up in that group session that may not have been addressed previously.
Yeah.
But the big things like the curses and those things are being cleared. So you wouldn't have to do it a second time for that.
Is the narcissistic behavior of a person connected to implants?
They can be attached, they can be connected to implants, they can be connected to these curse things that come through. Varying factors.
Okay. So if the twin has narcissistic behaviors, then it's connected to those things?
Yep.
So then we don't have to do an extra session on that one, right?
Correct. Now there are some instances people may want to have a personal session, like if someone has a lot of personal health problems, because I don't delve into everyone's individual health problems, but there are some twin flames that I've worked on that may have some very serious health conditions, and in a personal session I'm able to delve in to see what all has caused all that, to then clear and release that.
For me, my whole right side is totally blocked. We'll see how it goes like after that session.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
And if you're still having it, then that means it's something that's just individually, because they only have me work on things that are for half or more of you during these group sessions. So if it's something that you have and maybe only you or one or two other people have, if it's not for most of you, they don't have me work on it during this group session. So if you find you're still having something that's bothering you, then that's something you can schedule a personal session, then we can address it. And the nice thing is, since big things are removed, we should be able to do a personal session in like an hour or so.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, ladies. Well, I look forward to hearing how you're all feeling in a week or two. And I will see wherever to save this on my computer. And when I get it uploaded, now have patience. If I don't get it uploaded tomorrow, it's only because I just got home yesterday. And I'm preparing and packing tomorrow to go out of town for the spiritual thing that I'm doing for a few days. So if it's not uploaded tomorrow, at some point while I'm out of town, I will get it uploaded and I'll send you guys all a link to it, okay?
Great, thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you, Nicole.
night.
You too.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.